YouTube, what's cracking, man? It's Mr. 211 coming at you again with another one. Today I'm going to get into how and why I got fired from my previous job last year and why you should never, ever think you're not replaceable. Ever. So, I got fired last year and what was it? Last May. Because the reasons I got fired, it was basically a two-part thing or issue. So the first issue was I got written up pretty much because I raised my voice at a team leader from the previous shift. And they like to word it like I called him a bitch, but I didn't actually call him that. I told him to stop acting like one because, all right, I got to give you the lead up to it. Me and my buddy Christian, we worked third shift at this place. And we had gotten so used to coming in every day and second shift not having us prepared to start working. You know, whether it was being, the power vehicles that we used would have, batteries that were damn near dead. They wouldn't have them on charge or wouldn't have them charged up or not even plugged in. The powdered chemicals that we would use on top of our little mezzanine, which were in metal hoppers, they were never filled up to an adequate level where we could just come in and start working. Just things like that. Housekeeping, garbage not taken out, just a bunch of random stuff. And like I said, we had gotten so used to it, but it still pissed us off because it was like when we got to come in every day and we can't get working on our job because we have to do everything that second shift was supposed to do before they left, And a big part of that was because our team leader hardly ever came back to our work area, after our production meetings. He'd go slide off into the damn locker room, running his mouth, whatever. And don't get me wrong, I personally didn't have a problem or issue with it. I didn't have any beef with him, but as a team leader, yeah, he sucked. You know what I'm saying? He pretty much sucked. And so these hoppers that I'm talking about, okay, the way we were supposed to refill these things was we were supposed to have our team leader there or a team leader who had access, like an access code on their badge or whatever. They had a certain barcode on their badges that they were supposed to scan with a RF gun. Like you see it, price checks, stuff like that. A RF gun, they were supposed to scan the item and then scan the hopper or the machine, and it was supposed to automatically open the doors. That's how it was supposed to work. But like a lot of things in this place, it didn't always work. So the machines had behind the machines they had vacuum lines that you could manually trip to open the doors. and I'm under the assumption that those were strictly for maintenance, for the maintenance guys when they were working on it. But me and my man Christian, we had already witnessed, we had seen our supervisor and our team leader manually trip these things in that way because the scanner wasn't working or whatever. So once we saw that, we were like, okay, well, when we're tired of waiting for our team leader to come back from wherever he done wandered off to, so we could, fill up our hoppers and continue working, we're just gonna trip these things ourselves, And it wasn't like, technically, yes, it was wrong, or it wasn't procedure. But was it really a safety issue? No. You know what I'm saying? At least in our opinion, it wasn't. No. But obviously, to management and, HR or whatever, they're always gonna, by the book, we gotta do it like that. Whatever, man. Okay. You're not out here on the floor and dealing with this. And you're not getting bitched at because your numbers might get low one night because you're waiting 45 minutes for your team leader to damn get back here and do his job. So we took matters in our own hands so we could keep working, which was the basis of us doing that, So after we found that out, that was literally, we literally didn't even bother calling or asking our team leader to even come back there to do that for us. We literally started actually doing his job because he was hardly ever back there. Out of necessity, we started doing his job, So that's kind of backstory into what led up to me getting into a verbal altercation with this team leader from second shift, who actually wasn't the primary team leader in that department. He was from another department, but he happened to be covering for the main team leader for second shift this day. So we come in for our shift, we have our meeting, I go back to my area, I walk straight up to the mezzanine like I do every day to, take an assessment of how many bags of certain products that we use, how many bags we're gonna need, how many bags I need to dump into the hoppers so we can get to work. And I get to cracking. I get to popping them vacuum lines, filling up the hoppers, blah, 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 and all that. And I'm not paying any mind. I'm doing my job. I don't even pay attention to second shift when we kind of I hardly even talk to these dudes because I don't even like any of them really, So I don't even acknowledge half of them or talk to them. I just get to work. So I'm up there doing my business. Up the stairs comes this stand-in, team leader. I don't see him at first because I have my back turned to him. I'm dumping bags of powder into these hoppers. So he comes up, and I kind of see a shadow behind me. He's like walking up and down, checking all the other hoppers and stuff like that. I still don't think nothing of it because I'm like, I'm doing what I do every day. So I'm not even tripping like, oh, he's going to see me do it. Like, I don't care. I'm not even thinking about that. So he sees me doing that, doesn't say a word to me, doesn't even come my way, says nothing. I finish what I'm doing. I go back downstairs. I start getting, our electric vehicles that, that we use to move these big tubs, these big metal tubs that we made the batches in. These vehicles were moving around. I start moving them to different stations so they can start filling up. My buddy Christian comes around the corner. He's like, hey. He's like, I ain't trying to get you pissed, but homeboys just went to the damn production office and ratted you out. I'm like, for what? Like, I'm literally thinking, like, ratted me out for what? What did I do? He's like, cause he saw you up there, filling up the hoppers and all this. I'm like, man, okay. I immediately break off from Christian, like, and I step to dude. I'm like, yo, you got an issue with me filling the hoppers up because y'all didn't? Oh yeah, well, he starts pointing to the little interface screen we have that shows all the hoppers, statuses and all that. He starts pointing at it, talking about, oh, well, it's procedure. They don't want us filling it up past a certain level, blah, 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 or until it gets to a certain level. I'm like, dude, look, I'm trying to get to work. This is what we do every day because y'all shift never have us ready to go. We come in, the hoppers are at like 20%, 15% full. Like, if we come in and just get to work like that, we're gonna have to immediately start working and then immediately stop every day we come in within 10 minutes because y'all never have them full. You know what I'm saying? And I just kind of blew him off and walked off after that. But as I'm walking away from him, it's starting to build up in me more, and I'm like, and at this point, it is a culmination of many days. And I mean many days coming in after this shift and them never having us ready to go. So I'm at a boiling point. So as I'm walking away, I think I got maybe about 20 feet. I do a U-turn. I come around the other side of the wall. And I'm like, well, and another thing, if you got a problem with me, just come say it to me first. Like you could have said something up there when you saw me. You know what I'm saying? Man to man, you could have just been like, hey man, they don't really want us doing that, man. Why don't you close that up and like let your team lead or whatever get that. That's all he had to say to me, man. It would be like, all right, man, whatever. Close it up, no big deal, whatever. But I was like, you chose to go to the damn office and snitch like a fucking bitch. And that's what I said. I didn't call him a bitch. I said, you'd rather go to the office and snitch or act like a bitch. I'm cutting hairs here, but those are my words, not verbatim, but pretty much paraphrasing. But I did do it, like I was very loud, like ignorantly loud with it, and this is in front of both shifts. Like my third shift, we're oncoming. The second shift, they're outgoing. But this is in front of all of them. You know what I'm saying? Both shifts. And everybody's kind of like standing around, Only one kind of smiling is my homeboy Christian because he pretty much knew that he lit that fuse or whatever. But it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? So the dude goes back to the damn office and he's bitching and moaning and crying like, he cursed me and all this, I mean, straight up acting like a bitch, truly, and I wasn't the only one who said it, by the time the word got around what happened in the plant, by the time we're on our first, smoke break or whatever, everybody's asking me what's happening, people they're like, who was it? And they're like, such and such. They're like, oh yeah, he is a bitch, man. I mean, this is what everybody else is telling me. Apparently he's had run-ins with other people in his actual department and all that. So that was my first strike. Because like I said, I had to get written up and sign, a document because of that or whatever. And I'd say probably about 10 days later, I had another incident, which was basically a training or lack of training issue. Now, we have the mezzanine hoppers, right? And we are on the main floor. We have what we call super sacks. I mean, these bags are like probably, what did they say? They're like 55 I don't know, like 50 kilo bags. I mean, these are huge. Like we have to use a harness with chains and stuff to lift them up and to, put them, to set them down over these really big hoppers we have on the ground floor. Now, similar to the hoppers upstairs, the procedure was supposed to be, you scan the super sack, you scan the barcode on the actual front of the hopper, and it's supposed to let you know if you've got the right product or not. Now, a lot of these super sacks they look very similar because a lot of them, the actual powder is similar color to each other, or they're in the same type of packaging, color and everything. So you really do have to pay attention to, the little plastic. They all come with like a plastic sleeve, a see-through sleeve with like a piece of paper in it that has all the info on it, and it's either taped to the side of the bag or it's like hanging off of a hook on the bag. So that particular day, I was hooking up one of those super sacks of this particular powder that looks exactly the same, like a different kind, but they're packaged the same way, and the actual products are the same type of color, like this yellow pancake mix looking powder, So I ended up picking the wrong bag up, whatever, getting it up, hoisted over the hopper, and I opened it into the hopper. But as soon as I do that, I see the number on the super sack, and I realize it's the wrong one. So immediately I'm like, damn. I let my team leader know, he lets my supervisor know and all that. And we spend maybe the next 2 to 3 hours cleaning it up, because once you open these big super sacks, I mean, gravity, it just pulls it out of these big ass bags. So I had opened it. Oh, my bad, y'all. I'm getting a call. I'm trying to deny it. But I had opened the bag into the hopper. So the wrong product was already in the very top of the hopper. So all we really had to do was just close the bag up. We had to push some of the product back up in the bag as best as we could. And then whatever product came out into the hopper, we had to clear like the first, I guess, 1.5 to 2 feet of product out of the top of the hopper, which, made a mess all over the floor and all that. But we dealt with it, got it cleaned up and all that. We lost some time because, the time we spent cleaning it up. But in the meantime, we had another guy that was pretty much covering for us while we cleaned up. So we didn't really lose that much time. And we didn't destroy any batches with the wrong chemical. And that's important because I'd say 3 or 4 days before I did this, apparently another guy did this in a different department, but he screwed up like 19 batches, I think. And so, I think I was, after we got it cleaned up and all that, we had it cleaned up before first shift came in for the morning shift. We had everything cleaned up. We were still up and running. So I didn't think nothing of it. But I didn't realize, at the time I didn't realize, but I forgot when I got in that first write-up, I had to sign and say that if there were any other incidents or whatever, disciplinary incidents or whatever, it could lead to up to and possibly termination. And I signed it. I was like, okay, I understand, whatever, but I wasn't thinking this training thing was going to end up with that, because it was literally, I had never gotten trained properly how to do that. Me or my buddy never did, but we had been doing it the way we had been doing it for an entire year. And our team leader and our supervisor had seen us do it this way, which was the wrong way. Never gotten spoken to, never got showed the right way or whatever. So the irony of all this was the fact that once we told them that, they had the nerve to send us, oh no, they had the nerve to make us go through the right training on how to hang a super sack. And wouldn't you know, the person that they had train us was the guy who just screwed up 19 batches a week before. Okay, that makes sense. Not, but okay, so we go through the little training and all that. And then I'd say another couple days after that, at work, doing our thing, whatever, probably an hour and a half before the end of shift, I get the, hey man, Ronnie needs to see you up front in the office or whatever. I'm like, what now? That's what I'm thinking. You know what I'm saying? So I go up there and he's laying it out, talking about, oh yeah, we're gonna have to part ways because this is your second incident or whatever like that. And I'm like, these motherfuckers are really firing me for the same thing that this idiot who just trained us literally fired me for the same thing that he did. And I didn't screw up any product. I didn't ruin any batches, but he did. A lot of them. So that is that's the part of it that really burns me. Not the fact that I got fired, because like I said, I had a hand in it, because I technically was doing something wrong the first time, because I wasn't following procedure, and then that led to me having the verbal altercation, which was wrong. I knew it was wrong at the time, but I was so fed up at the time of coming in after second shift and having to deal with that crap. I popped off, and I knew it was wrong. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't making no excuses about that, but the fact that I got, like, the fact that the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak, was the fact that I hung the wrong super sack over the hopper, and we lost work hours, or we lost work time, production time with the cleanup. I was like, that's the reason you're firing me? Okay. And by that point, I was already like, all right, man, look, yeah, I'll sign you a little paper. I ain't losing sleep over this shit. I was like, whatever, man. Because I was like, I'm not about to make a scene over this, because it'll probably get even worse than my first incident. I was like, screw this. I was like, I'm out of here, man. All right, yeah. Here's my badge, all that. But the more I thought about it after the fact, I was just like, I can't believe they canned me for doing the exact same thing someone else did not a week before me. But he's still working there, and in fact, the only thing he had to do was teach us the right way after he had fucked up 19 batches. But he still had a job. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. So I ain't even gonna lie, it still pisses me off to this day because of how that whole situation went down. Not that I got fired. I mean, I've gotten fired, I don't know, a couple other times in my life, but the fact of getting fired didn't really get under my skin. It was just the way it went down. But I say all that, and I told that story to also, bring home the fact that ever you can't ever think that you are not replaceable. And I'm not saying that I thought I was like the best, thing on earth. No, but the team of me and my buddy Christian back there, we were pretty much the best back there at what we did. And we were the newest guys there. And we literally outworked both shifts put together, first and second, without really trying. Because we were we were so good at working together that we barely even had to speak to each other. While we just be in there we be in there cooking. You know what I mean? So it was it we didn't walk around like like we knew we were hot shit or anything, but we knew what we knew what we were capable of. You know what I mean? And I always like to look at things like, you know what, like it's bottom line, right? You know what I'm saying? It's supposed to be. At least that's what management always says when it's convenient for them. So I was like, they shouldn't worry about, if I said something or my attitude or, if I'm in a bad mood one day. I'm like, I'm still getting this job done. That's all you need to worry about. Other than that, I didn't have no issues in that place. You know what I'm saying? Me or my buddy didn't. But apparently, and then another part of it, apparently, my buddy overheard the HR dude. I get after they had already fired me, like soon after they fired me, after I left the premises or whatever. By the time he clocked out, I think he said he heard somebody or somebody else told him that the HR guy was like, somebody came up to the HR guy and was like, "Yo, why did you get rid of old buddy back there?" You know what I'm saying? He was one of the best workers back there. Speaking about me, it was like, and apparently the HR dude was like, "Oh, we'd rather have good people, not good workers." And I was like, "Oh, so now you just trying to assassinate my character, apparently." You know what I'm saying? Now I'm not a good person. Like I'm a piece of shit all of a sudden. Like I was like, I can't believe this shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's what pisses me off about that whole situation. That little shit was like, you wait till like I'm off the premises and then you want to try to paint me as some kind of villain or some dirtbag. Like, dude, I came in there, showed up, did my job, and that was it. Maybe because I didn't fraternize with a lot of you idiots up in there, like now I'm the bad guy. Whatever. That's what it is. That's what it is. But that's what this whole dragged out story or whatever was just letting y'all know that like you can't. No matter how valuable you might think you are to a place, a company, or whatever, you're not, and you can't go up in there thinking that, because they will show you. They will humble your ass quick. They will get rid of your ass quick if they feel they need to. You know what I'm saying? To their own detriment, even sometimes, because I know for a fact they probably struggled for a bit after I left, and then 3 days later my buddy left or got fired because he was so pissed off at how they did me. And I feel bad about that because I was like, dude, you didn't. I wasn't trying to get you hemmed up in no shit like that, but he wasn't having it. You know what I'm saying? And besides, he didn't want to work with anyone else but me. In the same way, I didn't want to work with anyone else but him. As a matter of fact, I had left this place for a month. Thought I was gonna get a better job. Went to this job. It didn't. I found out pretty. I realized it wasn't for me, and my supervisor had given me his phone number. Was like, "Hey man, if you want to come back, just give me a holler." And that's what I did. So I came back to work at this place, but I only was like, I'm only working with Christian, because me and him we were like that. We just worked that well together. I was like, I'm not even trying to fuck with nobody else back there. You know what I'm saying? And I let them know that when I was coming back. I'm like, I ain't working with nobody else. And he was the same way. So I know they probably struggled a bit, at least a bit, after we left, because they had to move some people from other departments who never worked back there, or they had to get some new people. That probably didn't work out that well, because I think they tried a couple back there for that month that I was gone, a month and a half that I was gone, and it didn't work out well, you know. But like I said, you still can't let that get to your head, because like I said, they'll show you quick. They'll humble you, even to their own detriment, to make their point. You know, they'll let you know you ain't important. Because the companies, they always think we can get another one of you. You might. It might take a while though. You might get another one, but I just want any of y'all out here who are listening, who come across this, if you've ever felt like that, or you feel like that right now at your job, I'm telling you, man, you playing a dangerous game. You playing a dangerous game, cause nah, that ain't what you want. You know what I'm saying? Don't ever feel like you are indispensable, cause you're not. None of us are. You know what I mean? Especially now in these times, you can't afford to be getting fired, canned, whatever. Especially that's your if that's your only source of income. If you don't have no side shit going, gig work, or DoorDash, Instacart, whatever, Uber, or YouTube, something. If you don't have any of those, and you end up getting fired, you're gonna be in a world of hurt, man. Unless you got a little nice stash saved up. But how long is that gonna last? You know what I'm saying? How big a stash you got? Just don't take your position wherever you are for granted. Even if it's someplace you can't stand, man. Most of us are in jobs we can't stand. I mean, to be honest, that's how I feel. So don't go about your business that way, man. Just keep it tight, stay focused, man, and just show up, do your job, and go home. That's it. That's your best bet, But even then, some places gonna hate you too, because some places don't even like that. They yeah, they kind of hate people who do that. Some places. Damn, excuse me, y'all. I'm over here tired as hell. Matter of fact, what I was about to get into, that'll be another. Maybe that'll be another subject that I spit some facts on. But until then, I'm gonna sign out. Cause look at me, I'm over here looking rough, yo. Later.